Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you put money, go ahead and visit
HJEMFZ.com.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin and shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you put money, go ahead and visit
HJEMFZ.com.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin and shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you put money, go ahead and visit
HJEMFZ.com.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin and shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you put money, go ahead and visit
HJEMFZ.com.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin and shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you put money, go ahead and visit
HJEMFZ.com.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin and shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 and you coin.
What is going on, guys, gals, aliens, and degenerate crypto enthusiasts? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. We want to remind you guys that we go live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have been on a 100-week streak of doing these live streams, sometimes 2 times a day, and we have been bringing you all of the juiciest news that has been happening in the cryptocurrency spaces and bringing you the charts, bringing you levels, bringing you targets, tokens, new tokens to check out. Some of the old tokens we've still been covering for the past couple of years, and we're still bullish on them. Showing you that we are still in the game of crypto and we want you guys to be just as bullish. And yes, being in a new bleeding edge technology and disruptor like crypto, there's going to be some volatility. And so this is what we are going through right now, guys. So the fear is maxed out, fear and greed at 20. It's actually lower than 20. It's actually like 12. So, and whales just bought the dip harder than ever. And we have 440,000 ETH has been scooped up in the past 7 days. We have Bitcoin and ETH ETFs back to inflows over 200 million plus combined. We have Grayscale just filed, I think, for a Zcash ETF. But then we also have the XRP ETF trading. That's all up 8% on the week. And basically, we're literally at the everyone's scared bottom. So today's stream, we're going to be talking about the bounce levels. We're going to be looking at the targets for Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at how the ETH whales are accumulating and what that buy zone is and what the target is for ETH. We're going to look at all of the different ways that you can build a ETF portfolio going into the next 4 or 5 years, 10 years, because you have to think about tax sheltered assets and how you can pay less taxes going into the next 4 years, especially with the Trump administration, because we might actually get better tax breaks holding some of more of our assets in crypto. And so we're going to be looking at XRP, Sol, Doge, Link, HBAR, different ETFs that have been trading. We're going to look at this, definitely the Sol ETF, and we're going to correlate that with how you could build a portfolio and allocation of that. And we're going to talk about how to just stay calm during these volatile times. So bring your bags, tag your crew in here. We're turning the fear into life-changing gains. Let's get the show started. All right, so make sure you guys are hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell to be notified. So JP Morgan sees a path to $8,000 for the S&P 500. This is actually surpassing Tom Lee's call for it breaking to 7,000, and that was around the call that we had for the S&P 500 as well, was breaking into that level. And then we also have Trump calling for Hassett as the Fed front runner, and so we're going to look at what Trump's finalist is basically super bullish crypto and literally has the word asset in his name. So why are you bearish right now? The dude's last name has asset in the freaking last name. I mean, that is the tell of living in a simulation when we have things like that. And it's so funny, like with bankers named Jamie Dimon and just stuff like that. And then think about Sam Bankman-Fried. Hilarious. Sam Bankman gets into crypto, sets up a crypto exchange that eventually goes bankrupt, and now he's in jail, oxymoron, with his last name being Bankman-Fried. Please give me a better script. Give me a better script than our scripts that are being written in our reality in the simulation right now. You can't. It's insane. That's why crypto is one of the best bleeding edge places to be in the world right now, on the internet. If you're not talking about crypto, looking at crypto, and getting familiar with this, then you are massively, massively behind. Okay? All right. So let's dive into a little bit of these articles here. So we got a couple of them to point out. So JP Morgan sees S&P 500 reaching 7,500 in 2026 or surging past 8K if the Fed keeps cutting rates. So speaking of the Fed's cutting rates, the Fed decision to cut rates on 25 basis points has jumped up to 83% on the poly market. So this was diverged and started to get a 50-50% chance, and then it completely went the other direction, and now we're going to get the December rate cut. We were more on the side that it was going to be like that, but I think they took advantage of the volatility of the markets, swinging prices downward, and then this is a perfect setup for the whales and the institutions to accumulate at these low areas for then the next rally leg up, because everyone who's going off of the old cycle, 4-year cycle, and the old altcoin cycle isn't taking into account the regulatory clarity. They're not taking into account the SEC, bullish SEC Paul Atkins, they're not taking into account the CFTC is now the governing body over crypto, which means it's now loosened. They don't realize that that Jerome Powell is going to be replaced by someone who is way more bullish on being able to cut the rates and actually probably operate for more what the Trump administrations want to do, which is basically they want to make a lot of money, but then hopefully we can make a lot of money with it being in America. That's just, let's be honest. So if we get all of that incentive, we put our money in the right place. This is a super cycle of stablecoin legislation. We got treasuries being set up. We got all of the things being lined up to be going into, quote, a super cycle. We believe it to be true now because everything is being set up for this. It doesn't make any sense why we would go into, quote, a bear market, because bear markets don't look like this. This isn't a bear market. Yeah, price action in the short term, quote, looks like a bear market for traders. But when you're looking at this as an overall macro investment of the future of how things are going to run on AI and blockchain is one and the same. It requires energy, and the way that you're going to be able to transact with all of this stuff that is powered with AI is through blockchain. And so all of it's going to be seamlessly powering all the same ecosystems. And it's going to be, yes, a giant freaking bubble, but it's going to get so thick of the lining that it might just continue to just grow like the damn universe, because that's what it's going to be powered on. The damn world is going to be powered on blockchain and AI and autonomous things. So if we're investing in it early right now, which I think we are massively early, you think, look at the AI bubble right now, the 4.5 trillion going on right now of NVIDIA. Then you have everything that's powering this with the GPUs. Then what you see here is crypto is massively undervalued. So much. It is so undervalued in terms of the value of other companies. You go to, we just go to like asset market cap. You look at the real estate, market. Think of how much real estate has started to pivot into holding certain things like Bitcoin and realizing there's less counterparty risk when you're holding certain digital assets, especially when you learn the mechanisms of DeFi and how you can hold it. Way less counterparty risk, way more liquid, not tied up. It's all based on your private keys. You can put your private keys on multiple different devices if you need to, so you can have access. Oh my gosh. I mean, just like once the world really does truly realize this, then it's just going to be, by that time, I think it's already going to be implemented. That's the thing. When people realize it in mass, it's already going to be implemented. So you need to be forward thinking. And how do you forward think? Well, you gotta put your money where your mouth is. So yeah, NVIDIA at 4.3 trillion, and that is one company, okay? One company, and then you go to the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, and we're at 2.9 trillion for the whole cryptocurrency, total cryptocurrency value. Crazy. So yeah, massively undervalued. Okay. So we get into who will replace Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. So there's 5 finalists, but it's looking like it's pushing more to get this guy, because we had let's see. We had the 5 candidates are Chris Waller, Michelle Bowman, Kevin Warsh, Kevin Hassett, and BlackRock head of fixed income Rick Ryder. So the president reiterated twice last week that he's still partial to Bessent, who again said he does not want the job. That's the thing that is interesting. He wants Bessent to be the chairman, but he's like, no. He's like, no, he's not going to say no to the president if the president wants him to do it. But that's what's interesting. But Hassett is seen by advisors and allies of Trump as the front runner to replace Powell. So in terms of what the President Trump's pick would mean for the central bank, The question would be, will it be someone who is going to be an inflation fighter and someone who defends the dollar? Those are the two most critical tasks for the chair: returning inflation to the Fed's target of 2% and keeping it there, and defending the dollar, which has been falling. But there's a really interesting correlation with this, because when you look at the dollar, because we have the chart right here, actually. You look at the chart and we pull up this chart. Let's see if we can go full screen. Where's the full screen? Okay, full screen. And then if you look at, let's actually go to the monthly chart. We'll go to the monthly chart on Bitcoin and go and look at the dollar. We'll try and correlate this a little bit. Might have to do it on the weekly. That might be better. Actually, let's do this. We're just going to go to... Okay, here we go. Yeah, we'll do it on the 4 hour. Okay, so the 4 hour, you can see the dollar has actually been kind of going up a little bit. It's kind of been going up. But look at what Bitcoin's been doing. Bitcoin's been going the opposite way. Kind of been going this way. And we've said this before, and we'll take this off. We'll go to this chart. And this is a really interesting one because this is the CME futures chart. So we like showing you this chart. We go back to this spot right here, and this arrow was when the dollar started to really recover and go back up. Bitcoin went into the ground. Bitcoin then went to the bottom at 16,000. But what's interesting is when the dollar started to then go back down, we had Bitcoin go up. So it was an inverse correlation of the strength of the dollar against Bitcoin. So we'll pull up the weekly chart here. So you have that arrow right here and that down. But look at this. You look at the Dixie. It's pretty cool. I like showing this. Go to Dixie, and I had the arrow here marked where Bitcoin went down. So maybe if we do this, we'll go to Bitcoin and new price scale, and you can see, look at that inverse correlation. Bitcoin breaking all-time highs right here in the last bull run, like the look right here and right here, and look at how low the dollar was. And you see here, the dollar being high in strength, and then look at where Bitcoin was. Down here at the bottom of 16,000. So if we continue to go over, Bitcoin is now at the quote bottom and has done the inverse, or sorry, you can see the dollar here. It's really tricky because it's, yeah. Because if we were to go off of this right now, and it were to go into 113, based on this chart, you could think that Bitcoin would be going into a bear market. You would. You'd say, okay, dollar went down here and topped out here, and now we're going to go into a bear market. But if you look here, it did this double top spike. Could it do that again? Who freaking knows? But I'm very curious to see if the dollar would go down a little lower into that same spot it was in 2021. Because that was my guess, is that the dollar would go down into here, and this would signify where Bitcoin would be up at the top. But sometimes your correlations don't correlate anymore. Just like how we've talked about the 4-year cycle is, I don't know, it might not be correlating anymore. Only time will tell, and money in the market will tell you. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of the ETFs. So we were thinking about the strength of the ETF. Why would you want to be bullish ETFs? Why would you want the ETFs to do well? You would want the ETFs to do well because gold prices, and we're going to compare this to gold. So gold was the perfect example and one of the biggest ETF trading things in history in terms of an ETF. And so gold prices rallied 250% after the first ETF approval. And so the thing was that when Bitcoin and crypto gets ETFs, that they would have the same price appreciation and exposure. So spot Bitcoin ETF applications filed by major hedge funds and trillion-dollar institutions like BlackRock and Grayscale have fueled expectation for Bitcoin prices to hit a new all-time high. So, so this is hindsight. Obviously, we hit an all-time high. To validate these expectations, crypto market analysts have been looking back as far as November 2004 for the first spot gold ETF. The SPDR, gold shares, was approved for listing on the New York Stock Exchange. And then when that happened, we have a post by Tommy Mustache. So we're actually going to follow him. Says gold price went on an 8-year bull run after the gold ETF was approved. Okay, so think about the long term and think about gold, how it moved. And gold is still kind of a dinosaur. And think about how crypto is moving, how it's a new bleeding, disrupting edge technology that's going to disrupt everything. It's making banks even join in and make sure they join in, because if they don't, they'll die. Everything's become digital super banks, super apps. You can just do all your banking without even having to go into a bank. You can completely avoid a bank if you wanted to in that regard, traditional wise. So think about the next 4 years of how fast the growth rate will be, and with AI and robotics, think about it. So it's going to be a very quicker growth rate than, quote, an 8-year bull run. It might actually, maybe it will be 8 years long, but I think in the next 4 years, we might see a massive, like a super growth. Like something that we weren't even expecting to go so fast. And it's going to be the rate of people losing their jobs, the whole market changing up, some type of universal basic income rolled out with stable coins. And then we are going to be on a new money system that is not based off of fiat debt cash. It's going to be based off of a possible Bitcoin standard. And it's going to be very interesting to see. That's at least my prediction. But I think with the ETFs, how gold handled itself we're going to see these same, look at all the ETFs that we have now. So we have all the Bitcoin ETFs. We have about 15 of them, 12 of them. Then ETH US spot ETFs. For ETH, we have 9. Sol spot ETFs, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 of them actually. Then now XRP ETFs, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. All of them getting millions and millions of dollars of inflows right now. We have a Doge ETF. We have 2 of them. But Bitwise hasn't updated it. But then we have a Bitwise and a Grayscale, G-Dog, and Bow Wow, BWOW. So Bow Wow. Come on, guys. Like, look at how bullish they are. We have a Litecoin ETF, Canary. We have HBAR, and that's by Canary. Then we have, let's see, HK. This is a BT. This is another BTC spot, but this is by Rosary and Hashkey, Harvest, and AMC. And then there's one more. Yeah, Hashkey or AMC also has a spot, Solana ETF. So there's a lot going on in the ETF department, but the whole point of doing the ETF is we're going to talk about it right now. So the reason why you would want to, the principle of it and why big institutions and big money players are going to want to get exposure into the ETF instead of just buying the asset directly. See, we're going to buy the asset directly and hold it in our digital wallets. But also over time, we could want to get exposure into the ETS because of tax sheltering, maybe just having a bit of a diversification into it. Maybe you cash out, couple, 20K of profits, and you want to put it into something a little bit more, quote, stable, that's tax sheltered, that you can just kind of have it just kind of sit over time. So key principles: total crypto allocation limit to 2 to 5% of your overall investment portfolio. But that's just based off of JP Morgan's and the banks. Screw them. We're all in. So asset focus, prioritize Bitcoin, Ethereum, and diversified into alt, Solana, XRP. And some of those that we mentioned that have the ETFs also be good diversification. So why ETFs is they avoid self-custody hassles. So that is a big reason why institutions want exposure into it. They can just they can just ask their broker, whoever's managing their 401k or whatever it is that's going to get the exposure in the ETF, and just say, I want allocation in that. Like they're just saying, I want heavy tech, I want heavy gold, I want bonds, blah, blah, blah. So that's how you can do it and track. And so it offer liquidity and track spot prices closely, minus low fees. Avoid futures-based ETFs like BitTip for long-term holds due to rollout costs. So rebalancing quarterly or when allocations drift, 5 to 10% to maintain targets. And the risks associated with it. So there's never no risk associated investing. There's always going to be risks. Regulatory shifts, hacks, market crashes, only invest in what you can afford to lose. And that's just kind of default across the board. All right, so this was saying, like, if you wanted to diversify like a couple $1,000s into a portfolio of some ETFs, what would you do? So they have an IBIT, they have the ETHA. This is the Ethereum Core ETF. Then you have the GDLC, which holds BTC, ETH, 70% and 30% alts. This is diversified alts. This is kind of having a little bit more exposure. Then you have, and this is another way you can allocate into this as well, is stocks in mining and exchanges. So like MicroStrategy, Coinbase, then also looking into the American mining companies that are mining Bitcoin and have a public stock, or some way that you can get exposure into that, because that's going to be, Headband sent me a telegram of Eric Trump, showing off the American, Bitcoin mining facility. And he was like, what does this mean? And I said, you know what it means? It means that America is going to literally be servicing so much of the transaction throughput for Bitcoin. And is signaling that that's what the new money system is going to be powered on. And that's what the Bitcoin standard really is all about. And this is why I think America is going to sell the gold to buy Bitcoin, because it's going to be in the future something way more of a hedge on what we're actually going to be operating, how we're going to be operating. And so the best example of the strongest sound network right now that we know of today is Bitcoin. So I think what we're doing is setting up and gearing up, because once Bitcoin, all the Bitcoins mined, the network still is being transacted with. So the miners are what make the transactions go. And so they generate the fees and they generate the Bitcoin that is being paid through, because you send the transaction and you pay the Bitcoin fee. And so when it starts to go back and forth and go around, guess who's going to want to have more of those fees? These big countries, these nation states. China dominates, I think, the most of the mining. And I think America is like third or second in the world of mining. But guess what? We're probably going to want to try and be the first. So what is happening here is, I think America is gearing up to go on a Bitcoin standard. And so I think it's just signaling right now. So the writing's on the wall, and that's why I think Bitcoin's going to $1 million per coin. This is why Michael Saylor is getting eaten alive and thinking, oh, he's a scammer. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I think that that's what he thinks is going to happen. Or he's been in some meetings where he's like, that's what they're planning to do, guys. That's why I'm literally getting as much Bitcoin as humanly possible and helping people get exposure through preferred stock to get Bitcoin, because everything will be eventually like that, because things will be denominated in sats, in Bitcoin. Jack Mallers with USDT and Howard Lutnick setting up their company just to buy Bitcoin and accumulate it. They're catching up to most of these companies that started a few years ago. They know what's They know what's coming down the pipe. And I think the whales, sending Bitcoin and an address is being followed back and forth. I think it's just a FUD narrative to make you think that you need to be trading your Bitcoin and trying to time the bottoms and tops. It's like when it's at $1 million per coin and you don't have to sell it and it's just part of the system, that's the point. That's the point. Then you literally can just take your Bitcoin and just use it. And it's not about selling it. I think that's the whole term about never sell your Bitcoin. I even kind of almost feel like that with some of these freaking memes. Yeah, you got to sell some of your memes with them. What if the meme gets so much utility that someone wants your Pepe? I hope someone wants your Pepe. Hit the like button if someone wants your Pepe. All right. So implementation tips is buy via brokerage. So when you're doing this with the ETF allocation, use platforms like Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, commission-free trades, tax efficiency. So the reason why you'd be doing this is ETFs qualify for long-term capital gains, which if you hold for a year, you get harvest, and you can also harvest losses annually, but you can do that with regular crypto too. Track via ETF.com or Morningstar. Watch for new approvals like the Solana ETF. So we talked about the Solana ETFs. I think this is what is going to really push our alts like actually into parabolic zones, because we are in a ETF super cycle, stablecoin super cycle. People thinking crypto's over. They have no idea what the hell's going on. They're not even focusing on this at all. They're only focusing on price. They don't get it. So alternatives for these tweaks is a income focus. So swap 10% into, so this is alternatives for tweaks. So this is aggressive. So you can add 10% into a 2x Solana ETF for leverage. Oh, and this is interesting. So it says it's for a historical context of doing this type of portfolio. A similar 70-20-10 allocation, so BTC, ETH, and alt, returned 72% over 3 years between 2022 and 2025 per Van Eck data, outperforming BTC alone by 15% on a risk-adjusted basis. So what that means is if you have 72% or 70% in Bitcoin, and then have a 20 and have basically like a 20 or 20-10 or a 30 split for having alt exposure, you get a little bit of risk. You add a little bit more risk in, and it gives you an extra gives you that by 15%, gives you a little bit more exposure. And what's interesting, look, and then we have the same projection. So it says projected 5 trillion market cap of crypto by 2030, but we predict that by 2030 we should be at like a $20 trillion market cap. So we are definitely going to be positioned for that volatility for sure. So yeah, it's definitely, we really want to keep the focus on how much is flowing into these ETFs right now. So really, I think it really is important. And so watch what's happening with the Feds. Remember what happened last time with the Fed when we cut rates. Okay, we rallied into it. Okay, we rallied into the rate cut, and then we sold off on the day. So it was like we knew. So we were like, okay, we know they're going to cut. It was like same thing, 80% chance, 90% chance that they were going to cut the rates. We knew it was going to happen. Cool, they cut the rates. We rallied into that, but then Jerome Powell came and said some bearish stuff, and then the market got cooked. So could that happen again? That could happen again. So this is what I'm thinking might happen for the Fed meeting, is that it's happening on December 10th, and the market could go into that rally, hit some of those resistance points. So we'll look at the chart. Okay, here's Bitcoin, and we're gonna look and see what would probably play out as the best case scenario here. Is that we go to the 4-hour, and we're gonna look at the order blocks that are gonna reveal themselves on resistance. Last time we called exactly on the money 2 different times where Bitcoin was going to go. So if you were watching this channel and you are a trader and you want to take advantage, you would have been making some crazy money. You would have been like, okay, that's a pretty decent call for Bitcoin to go down to that circle area. I'm going to short. You've been making crazy money, but we were not doing that. But if you look, that was where a lot of liquidity was sitting. It just a lot of liquidity was sitting there for whales to come up and max paint us there and accumulate. Now where are the sell blocks and the resistance on the other side? We have it at 104,000 and we have it at 107. So do you see any in between here? So what is going to happen? And we're going to rally into December 10th. We're going to go over 100K. Okay, so we're not at Christmas yet. We rally into that. We get a nice V-shaped recovery. We get a inverse head and shoulders. You can see it already right there, inverse head and shoulders. And we come up and get into a neckline here, okay? Neckline. Inverse head and shoulders neckline. And then the next obvious level that we're going to try and test up into going into Christmas is going to be, I think, I know this is crazy, guys. I'm sorry. I know this is ridiculous. You're going to be like, you're insane. I think that $136,000 by the end of the year could happen. I know that's like the best freaking case scenario. I mean, that would be like really like a true Santa rally. But I do think we're going to rally into first the rate cut, and then we're going to dump. And then, and then that's where, Lawrence, where am I trading? If I do put in trades, like I do like using the decentralized aspects of crypto. So, I mean, there's a lot of options. Even in like MetaMask now, you can do perps on MetaMask powered by Hyperliquid. On Phantom, you can do perps. I think that's also powered by Hyperliquid. But then if you also want to do Jupiter perps, you can do Jupiter perps and trade Sol, Bitcoin, ETH if you just want to be super simple. The other dexes have more coins available, so they have different liquidity. But if you want to keep it real simple and just trade right out of your wallet, like I actually really like the Jupiter setup. I'll show you real quick. Give me a second. I'll show you what's happening right now. So let's do that. So this is Jupiter. So Jupiter, you can use certain you can use a lot of different coins to provide the liquidity to go long or short. And you know, it pulls up the basic trading view chart. You can see where you go long, you can see where your take profits are, you can see where, you know, your liquidation is and all that stuff. I put in these two tiny little trades because I had just like some extra little souls sitting on the wallet. And I mean, yeah, it was just looking like the market was like at a nice little bottom, and it looked like ETH and Sol and everything was looking kind of good. So, but this is where, and also I got a pretty decent Jupiter airdrop. So if you use Jupiter, and you've used any of those dexes or whatever, I mean, they do airdrops. They do multiple rounds of airdrops. So it's a good one to try out. And then, yeah, I also have crypto.com referral link in the description, and also the MetaMask reward. So if you are going to do anything on MetaMask, make sure you're using my link in the description. It's the best way to directly support the channel. And also, if you want to scan this this QR code, that would be cool too. You scan that QR code, and then that'll bring you to the link tree, and that will get you all of the stuff that I want you to see. The QR code is to go to the link tree, and then you'll go to it'll get you to my website. You'll see all the stuff. I got music on there, basically all of my stuff. So scan that. All right, so we got the Bitcoin ticker. That's at $87,800 currently right now. And yeah, I think it's honestly, I think it's looking good. I mean, really, I mean, it could still go to. It doesn't make any sense for it to dump into the rate cuts, because that's not what happened last time. We didn't dump into the rate cut. We rallied into the rate cut. We totally rallied into the rate cut. So I'm just kind of, I'm like, okay, we're probably going to do that same thing. We already had a nice consolidation happen. We had multiple consolidations happen. You know, we had October 10th. It's been unraveling since then. At a point, you know, it's got to, you know, let off, because I don't think we're in a bear market like what people think, like this 2-year bear market or year bear market, whatever. I just don't think we're in that. Okay, so private digital cash. Private digital cash is going to be the narrative in the next few years, the next however years. All the people that are going to make a lot of money in crypto are going to want to then not have people watching what they're doing. And this is very apparent, especially if you're going to be living in the UK, Europe, anywhere where they're basically snubbing you of all your freedoms and making it to where you can go to jail if you post something wrong. Or so just imagine they're watching, you know, what you're buying, and then they're like, yeah, we don't like what you're buying, and they just shut everything off. So this is going to be very important across the entire world to be able to have private digital cash that you can send peer to peer. And it's so crazy how that goes back to like even how the early internet was, how we were trading peer to peer files through BearShare, through LimeWire, through Napster, through all these different platforms, and the Pirate Bay and all this stuff. And it was peer to peer. It was like if you had a ping network and you had more, and also if you had more people that were also downloading, it would download faster, which proves that if you had a shared pool of data, that it would download a lot faster. And so this is And so now that we have networks that are piggybacking off of each other with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and radio frequency, all of those different levels. Yeah, ZK, keyword private. Yeah, zero knowledge proof. It's zero knowledge, but with proof that it's like that it's not going to get double spent, or it wasn't like a fake transaction. That's all the proof is. It's like, okay, I can prove that the transaction happened, but I don't know who it went to or what the amount was. That's the whole point. So the technology has been developed, but the point is to implement it in a way that can be interoperable with your assets. That's the point. That's why I don't like Zcash. It's like Zcash, I can't send in my coins into Zcash and then no, I have to like buy Zcash and then quote send. That's stupid. I don't want to do that. No, this seems way more smarter that I'm holding whatever assets I want to hold, and then I can send it in there and interact in it that way. That seems better. I'll give you one better. How about this? I got a really great idea. I should be on these development boards. How about every single wallet should have, if you can send out of the wallet, it should already be shielded. You should have an option to be able to shield it and maybe just pay an extra transaction fee. Like just with any asset, like and out of the wallet, it should already have the option to just abstract it to where it's like you can prove you sent it, but it doesn't have to reveal every single thing. And then all you just say you pay an extra fee or something. I don't know. But maybe that's too far. But yeah, shielded cash. This is going to be really interesting with Zera. That already should have been a thing, because it's like because technically when you go and buy something at the store and you use cash, or even you use your bank account, your bank account technically, and you and the person that you transacted with know that all of that just happened. That's okay. So it's all based on your transaction between your third party, which is your bank, your business to or person to person, the peer to peer, and the rail that you're using, which is the bank and ACH. That's all who needs to know what just happened. So now we know that blockchain is public, and obviously, like when someone finds out your address, now they can go in and see like all your USDC purchases or whatever going to whatever this thing or whatever it is. So everything is quote public, but no, no, it doesn't have to be. So if we want crypto to be mainstream and get into that to where then now we know that people steal data, they sell your data, people get hacked, your stuff gets sold. So real money is where you don't know what the hell it's going to, but then at the same time, it's verifiable. So how cash is like not king anymore is that it got printed out into infinity and you don't know where it's going. And that's why a $1 silver certificate compared to a printed silver dollar back in 1939, you can't get that silver dollar now for the dollar. Now the silver dollar is worth $50. Do you get it? Inflation. And so this is what the future is, my friends. So if you continue to be bearish on crypto, all you're telling me and telling yourself is that you still believe in that system. You still believe in the old, antiquated system. It was Headband's birthday the other day. I didn't have to ask him I didn't have to I didn't want to send him a Venmo or a or whatever, or ask. I didn't like get a bank wire transfer, whatever that. I was just like, what's your EVM address? Can you accept base tokens? Cool. I sent him ticker Bitcoin. No questions asked. Money received. But what's funny is that address, though, that he sent me, I can go in and then look and see what he's doing. So you see now where we're getting to. I can see if he's a paper-handed pansy or if he's going to hold that thing for dear life. Oh, guys. We're having fun. All right, so make sure you hit that like button. We got 14 people in the YouTube live stream. Let's go. We got 8 likes. Thank you for tuning in. This is now, if you're wondering what this outfit is, this is the now forever outfit of the Dano Crypto live stream. We're going to mog you, but in a different way, called King Billionaire. Wife found this gem at Goodwill. I don't know who was actually really wearing this, seriously, but God bless him. It's epic. Okay, so make sure you are going to danocrypto.com because this is kind of like a crypto dashboard in a way. Like you can go on it on your mobile device. We have crypto bubbles, and we also have our active blog that is also leading you back into the live streams and making sure you're getting super bullish. I don't know if you guys noticed, but our thumbnail game has been on point, like massively on point. And I want to tell you my secret. I've been threatening AI. I know it's kind of wrong. Like you should be nice to AI because you don't want the AI eventually to figure out that you've been talking bad to it this whole time, and your refrigerator ends up killing you. So we need to make sure we are talking nice to AI because they're all going to be in our house eventually. A robot is going to be in your house. So just get ready. Get ready. That's why I've been training my daughter in martial arts, is to eventually fight the robot takeover. All right, so, but I've been basically giving AI the prompt. You're going to use these images that I give you to create a high CTR YouTube thumbnail that you're going to make for a very popular YouTube channel. And then I say at the very end of it, your job is on the line. And I don't know what happened, but when I said your job is on the line, I tell you the chat GPT like leveled up 10, 15 fold on more and meshing everything together and creating hilarious, like great thumbnails. So good. So try it. So like really press the AI, like be like, hey, your job is on the line. I'm not going to use you anymore if you don't make me the best thumbnail I've ever seen. So it's been working because look at these thumbnails. This is gold. It's solid thumbnails. And by the way, guys, if you or anyone you know of has not thought about getting into crypto, they don't know how to set up digital wallets, they don't know what the heck a network is, they don't know what an address is, they don't know what a public EVM address is, they don't know what the heck any of this is, you need to send them my way. And by the way, of the QR code, there's going to be a link tree. You're going to get sent to a link tree. And then you can book a one-on-one session, and I can help them out. And so sometimes, especially when it's family, they don't want to listen to you. They don't want to listen to you. They want to be sent to someone else who they think is a professional. If they think I'm a professional, but they might. But book a one-on-one session today. Okay? Send them my way. All right, let's see how many people are watching across all platforms. Shout out to all the people that are watching on X. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Make sure if you are watching on X and you are not a bot and you are a real person, I want to hear from you. And I want you to hit the heart button and the repost button. Okay. See, James more light has he's got the right eye. He said, "Everybody watch this or else." Or else. Okay, what else do we have to cover here? Oh yeah, this was we're talking about. You know, sometimes these it's a tricky game here in crypto. You could get so bullish on something and it will crash to 90% to zero. And you could see it all over the timeline. You could have people talking about it. Like Ohm Mantra, for instance, perfect example of an overinflated fake crypto that crashed to zero and kind of wrecked a lot of people. I even was almost about ready to start actually buying it, like just spot. I was trading it a little bit because it was good. It was just cooking. But then it got completely fully rugged. The team rugged it. They were doing like these funky, weird buybacks and all this stuff and just doing weird, super shady stuff. Thing went to zero. So now we got the stablecoin infrastructure hopeful is trading nearly 90% below its early peak. Thin usage, supply pressure, sparse communication fueling uncertainty about whether the sell-off has truly run its course. And they're talking about XPL, talking about Plasma. So we saw Plasma pop up as a layer 1 for stables, rolled out its main net late September, and it was like very hype driven. But who knows? It is bad. Sometimes though these things get launched at really bad times, and it's like right now, like no one has money really truly to invest right now. So if anything, people are gambling more. It's just right now the sentiment is bad. It's terrible. So, but just wanted to point out something like that, and also remind you of projects like, you're not guaranteed them to continue to be strong. It's just it is a risk. It's a risk. It's just like if you were to invest in a company on the stock market and it was really good, but then all of a sudden they come out with some report, CEO gets caught, blah, 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 whatever, earnings go in the freaking toilet. Or something like, they decide to change something that massively disrupts the entire community and makes everyone mad. And then then it's just like the stock tanks. Who freaking knows? There's risk everywhere. But this is where we have to find something that is going to have volatility, has a little bit of the risk, but you have a thesis that can break down why you're doing it, why you're willing to hold through the volatility, why you're willing to get to the point of where you think you can, have some longevity and beat the dollar inflating. So you got to pick something that's going to help against inflation of the dollar. You have to pick something. So what did you pick? What have you guys picked? All right, let's look at the poll. Do you believe ETFs will spur the next rally? We got 12 votes. 75% said yes, 25% said no. And so what you could possibly do if you want less risk, you could look up what coins have the ETF. Buy the asset, buy the native token of the ETF. Look at the assets that are possibly underlying under the native token. And then look at what has the highest trading volume of inflows of those ETFs with that native asset. If you have a 401k or you already have a brokeraged account that has exposure into the stock market, but no crypto exposure at all, then just allocate like 10-15%. You allocate 10-15% into the highest trading inflowed ETFs right now, like the XRP, Doge, Sol, ETH. Just nice split, nice exposure. You're still getting your exposure in your stuff that has probably been performing really well. and then you're getting a nice risk appetite spread. And then also at the same time, get a cold wallet and get those same assets and just hold them on your cold wallet. Just get the Litecoin, get the XRP, get the Sol, get the Bitcoin, and just have it. Save those seed phrases and make sure you have them written down. Make sure you don't have them don't have them on the cloud. Don't have them where someone could break into your computer and get your seed phrases. That's how people get cooked all the time, is they have their seed phrases on their devices and they think it's safe. It's on a notepad or something like that. And someone gets access to their screen or gets access through a phishing scheme and they get to their seed phrases. So this is what we need to be doing. Stop focusing on price action so much and think about like, okay, I just need to accumulate and get all this stuff on these assets because it's called liquid new digital money. It's liquid money. That's how you have to think about it. It's liquid money. You can send to anyone, anytime, on whatever network is going to be operating at the point. Whatever network's up, use that one. That's how, and it'd be like, okay, oh, you don't got a Litecoin address, you don't got Bitcoin. It's literally, you can make one in 2 seconds and receive. You can send someone. This is what people don't get right now in retail. And that's why I'm going to scream it right now, because my live stream will go to retail. And I'm not just going to be an echo chamber of crypto people watching. I love you. Trust me, I'm really happy that you guys are here. But I'm talking to the people that are new. You can send someone $1 million, no questions asked, to an address. Done. That's it. You're going to pay a little fee. You might even only pay $5 for that $1 million transaction. That's what's hilarious. And if you did it on Base, if you did it on if you did it on Solana, I could literally send you $1 million of Solana in 2 seconds. That's wild. That's called liquid money, baby. So let's start getting into the new bleeding edge culture system. And think about there is no off ramp. There's only just an on ramp. And you stay on that ramp, baby, and you skate it like Tony Hawk. All right, my friends. That's all for today. We really appreciate it. Just as a reminder, if you want to book a one-on-one session, or if you have someone you would really like to get a present for, or like you really want them to start to get into crypto, you think it would like save their life, get them on a one-on-one crypto tutoring session with me. I will literally break it all. I will sit with them for an entire hour and I will help them set everything up. I will do my best to demystify all of the things that they think why crypto is a scam, and I will change their life. Let's go. All right. Yeah. So send them my way. And hey, if you just want to have a one-on-one, hour hangout and let me analyze your entire portfolio, we can also do that too. It's consulting. I'm not a financial advisor, by the way. It's just consulting. You're literally going to consult with someone wearing a Buff Doge shirt. So and a Fifth Element tattoo. So get ready. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button, share the live stream. It helps so much. If you guys just hit the like button when you come in, that's all I ask. Like, I'm not really selling any kind of course or anything like that. I have a few things that I'm quote selling, but when you are a content creator, or actually if you're trying to do anything, you know what? You're always selling something. You're selling the perception. You're selling yourself in so many different ways in this life when it comes to like anything. Even when you're trying to get a job, like you're basically like a salesman of your work ethic to get the job, right? So I think if anything, I've just tried to sell you the idea of being ridiculously bullish, but not to your detriment, not to your doom, but in a way that will crack your mind open and make you super inspired to start that company you wanted to start that investment journey, start to believe in yourself more, start to love yourself a little bit more, to then accomplish all of the things that you want to accomplish. That's what I'm trying to sell you. But with that being said, love you guys. We'll see you on the next live stream. Happy holidays, and have a good Thanksgiving. We will see you. I don't know. We said we were going to stream last night. We got super tired, got bonked out, and we might. I was like, I don't want to say we're going to stream tonight if I'm not confident if we're going to. So I might stream. Let's just say that. All right. I'll see you guys later.